Alright, so in this video we're going to look at factoring out algebraic terms from algebraic expressions. So let's write that down. Factoring. So factoring algebraic expressions. Okay. So when I'm showing this, I like to tell students a certain rule, and the rule is that you walk into a party and you have three tables. Okay, so here's three tables. Okay, and they are divided by spaces, and for now the spaces, let me just put a plus sign and a minus sign as those spaces. Okay, so every table has to have a plus sign or a minus sign in between them. Okay, and let's say we have a red block here, a red block here, and a red block here. Okay, we can have a, let's see, what color should I use? We'll use yellow here. So let's say we have a yellow circle, two yellow circles here, one yellow circle here, and three yellow circles here. And finally, let's use one last color where we have a triangle here, and we have a triangle here, and that's all we have. Okay, so this is how the game works. You have three tables and you walk into a party, and when you look at the tables, the game goes is you're allowed to take something off the table, but each table has to have the same amount from one table to the other if you want to take that off. So for an instance, this table has two circles, this table has one circle, and this table has three circles. So you're allowed to take a circle off as long as the other tables have the same amount here. So if I take one circle off here, I'm going to take him off and put him right here. So that's my circle there. Okay, I will just use a different color here. I will make this my circle. So I've taken a circle off. So I've taken a circle off this table, and this table. Okay, so here I have this circle, and he's just going to sit there. And if you don't mind, I'm going to create some brackets, which is holding my table stuff here. Okay, so this will be what's left on the tables inside here. I have a little minus sign and a plus sign here. And I will draw my tables again, like this. Okay, and so. Okay, so far I've taken out a circle off each table, because each table had one circle. Now if I'd like to take another circle off, you can see I have one circle here, but there's no more circles on this table. So because my rule says each table has to have a circle shared on it, okay, and I've already taken one off, I cannot take any more circles out. But if you look, I have a square on this table, a square on this table, and a square on this table. So I can take out one square. So I'm going to put the square on the outside of these brackets here, which is not inside this on one of these tables. So now I've taken out my square from each one of these tables. So when I take the square out, I put him in the front. I don't put all three, I just put the one square that is shared between these tables. Finally, I look at the triangles and I say, okay, there's a triangle here, but there is no triangle here. So I cannot take any triangles outside the front of these brackets. And all I need to do now is see what do I have left over. So on this table we have a circle and a triangle. On this table we have a triangle, and on this table we have two circles. Okay, so how does this have to do anything with algebra? Well, let me write out an algebraic equation. Let's say I have x squared y squared minus x y z, and then I say plus x y squared and z. Okay, so imagine I put this here on a little table. So here's a table, here's a table, and here's a table. And we are going to factor this algebraic expression. If this is the case, we're going to look at each table and see what we have in common. Well, x squared, if you remember from your algebra, is like saying x times x. So actually here we have an x and an x. And y squared is like saying y times y. So we have a y and a y as well, all multiplied together. Here we have one of each one, and then again we have a y squared here, so we have a y and a y. And now we go back to playing the game. So the game says that if we have our brackets here, we have to see what we can take out from each table and what we have to leave on the table. So in this example, if you look, we have, let's see, all right, I have 1x here, I have 1x here, and I have 1x here. So I can take an x out of that. So I factor out an x. That's what we're doing here. So he is now gone. I've taken that x out, I've taken that x out, and I've taken that x out. So I cross them off from my tables. Next I look and say, well, I have another x, but there's no more x's on this table and no more x's on this table. So I go to my next letter and I say to myself, okay, I have a y here, I have a y here, and I have one y here too. So I can take out a y. So if I've taken out one y from each one of these tables, I have this left over. So finally I look and I say, okay, I have another y here because I had y squared before, but this guy doesn't have any more y's. So I'm now going to put my minus my plus here, like I did before with my tables. And I have a z and a z, but there's no z here. So I cannot take a z out the front as well. So what's left on this table is my x and my y. What's left on this table is my z, and what's left on this table is my z and the one of the y's left. So plus y, z. So using the table game, I can factor out certain things with algebra and shapes. They both work to solve simple algebraic equations.